And hello, everyone. Happy Monday. Thank you all very much for coming out. Much appreciated. Hope you had a good weekend. Hope you have a good week. So, first things first. Good afternoon, Veronica.
Good afternoon, Gimpy, and hello, everyone. Have a great stream.
Okay, and over in chat, Vukrul's Lurkers, and other people. Vukrul, where you been? You been flying your F-16s again? Or did you visit Florida?
Your next break is in 1 hour.
Sorry. I don't know why, but I think you actually live in Florida. I don't know why. Just a suspicion. I think that's where you actually live. I don't think you're in Poland. I think you're really in Florida. There's just too many coincidences there. But anyway, stream schedule. Today I've been playing some more Master of Magic. Why? Because I want to. I really don't care how many people actually watch me play it. I just want to play it because I enjoy the game. You live on the tip of Florida. Ew. Ew. Anyway, Master of Magic today. Tomorrow, Wednesday, and Thursday. Starfield. I almost call it Starflight. Starfield or Baldur's Gate 3. Expect Starfield at least once, probably 2 or 3 times this week. Baldur's Gate maybe once, maybe twice. We'll see. Again, it's going to depend on how I feel. Is there even any settlement there on the tip of Florida? Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's where all the crazy people live. There's actually, on the tip, they have what they call the Florida Keys, which is actually a little series of small islands that go off the tip back into the Caribbean. And there's all kinds of stuff on that. Tourist stuff, people actually live there, whatever. Florida is actually fairly populated for being a swamp. So it's quite amusing. I've been to Florida, but I've never been I've only been to Orlando. I've been to Orlando twice. Yes, the whole state is hurricane territory technically. But they don't get hit by hurricane every year. And it's not always the way it works. Well, I don't know if it's the way it works. But hurricanes, either, they come up and they skirt along the eastern coast, or depending on where they start. Yeah, depending on where the hurricanes start really depends on what part of Florida has a chance of getting hit. So, but usually if they usually get hit, I think the hurricanes usually hit along the eastern coast. But every now and then a hurricane moves into the inside a little bit and will come up along the western coast of Florida. But usually those tend to be a little bit more towards to the west too. They end up going west, going towards Louisiana, Texas area. But even then, it's no guarantee that well, there's hurricanes every year. So I think a remnant of the one that hit last week somewhere is hitting the northeastern part of the United States right now, I think. It's not a hurricane, it's just a lot of rain, from what I understand. And then we actually had, a couple weeks back, we got hit by the tail end of a hurricane here in San Diego, Southern California. But which is, and it wasn't as bad as they were acting like it was going to be, because it was a decent sized hurricane that came up from Mexico along the Baja California Peninsula area. And by the time it hit us, it was supposed to be a tropical storm. But for us, where I am, all it was rain all day, a light rain for the most part all day. I mean, we ended up getting like 2 inches of rain or something throughout the day, which is a lot for us. And 2 inches is what, 5 centimeters, roughly? Yeah, 5 centimeters roughly of rain, which for us, again, is a lot. But because it wasn't our typical rainstorm stuff that we get. Normally, when we get a lot of rain, it's like pouring rain for like an hour or two, and that's it. That's usually what it is for us. But with this tropical storm thing, it just basically started raining in the late morning and just went all day. And but it was a light rain, so it was no big deal. I mean, it ended up being a lot of water for us, but it didn't really cause issues specifically where I live. Other parts had issues because of flooding and that kind of thing. But for us, because I'm up in the hills a little bit, we're well above sea level, so all the water has a tendency to run down. So we don't have to. It's not a big deal for us. But that's just the way it works. And that was the first tropical storm / hurricane that has hit this area in like 80 years. So, it was kind of a big deal, but for most of us, it wasn't. I mean, it was just like, oh yeah, it's raining. Yeah. I mean, it was. They made it out to be worse than it was going to be. They made it. They made it out to be worse than it actually was, and but that happens. But again, like I said, some areas got hit worse than others because of wind and whatever. Like the mountains had a little bit more trouble with the wind. A lot of trees and stuff fell over and whatever. Did some damage there, but around me, nothing really. Again, it was just the rain. So, and that happens in Florida too. I mean, that's what we're talking about. It's hurricanes hitting over there, and sometimes they hit them, sometimes they don't. And they have a much better chance of getting hit by hurricanes than us, but just like we have a better chance of earthquakes than them. But just relocate to Mars. No rains there. Yeah, there's no air there either. Just need to point that out. There's no air. There's no air on Mars. So, anyway. Forgot to say, the rest of the schedule. Friday is Celeste Multiplayer with Jeff Hope on Hurricane. Saturday, Starfield. And then Sunday is Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous Day, where the first half of the stream is campaign stuff with Gimpy the Dwarven Crusader Angel. And the second half of the stream is the Treasure of the Midnight Isles DLC with viewer groups currently on viewer group 10. Just nitpicking what the whole air thing. Well, I kind of like breathing. Breathing, I think, is a big plus in life. At least it's been one of my observations. I know it gets overrated sometimes, but, Okay, what else? We may have dog cam later on today. Mrs. Gimpy's supposed to be going out and doing something. I forgot what she said she was going to be doing, but she's supposed to be going out sometime later. Don't know when exactly, so we may have dog cam. It's all to Mickey and Rocket, to tell you the truth. Mickey is currently in here with me, and Rocket is not in here, so I'm guessing he's sleeping in the living room somewhere. Breathing is a habit. It's a bad habit. It's a very bad habit. So, what else? I'm forgetting something. I know I am, but I can't think of what it is. Oh, I played around with my mic settings a little bit because I was listening to the recordings on Saturday and Sunday, and something didn't sound right, despite the fact I hadn't changed anything. Now I have legitimately changed something, and I'm curious to see what it's going to end up being. Sounding like on the recording today. So, didn't breathe for around 9 months, and everything was fine. Well, actually, you were breathing. Actually, you just weren't breathing like an air breather. You're breathing more like a frog. So you were breathing. You still had oxygen going in and out of your lungs and stuff. It just didn't come in through the form of air. It came in the form of fluid. You're not hearing the difference? You shouldn't. Well, the issue is that I noticed on Saturday and a little bit on Sunday is when I start doing my mumbling thing that I do that annoys certain people, which I think is hilarious, but OBS wasn't picking it. It was cutting me off more than I thought it was, because I don't remember hearing it in previous streams lately. But on Saturday, I really noticed it badly, and then Sunday, I noticed a little bit too. What mumbling thing? When I start talking to myself, and I'm really not talking to anybody, and my voice volume drops, and what that does is it makes it so OBS doesn't think I'm talking, and it stops paying attention to the mic for a little bit until it hears something loud enough to trigger it again. And as a result, it sounds like there's like a skip in the audio. You must have missed it? Oh yeah, I'm sure you've missed it. Like right now, I'm not doing it because I'm actually talking normally. I'm talking to you. You should feel special that I'm talking to you, Vukrals. So that's why you're not hearing it, because I'm speaking somewhat normally. But sometimes when I play games, I'm not really talking to anybody specifically in chat. I'm just kind of talking to myself just to talk. And I have a tendency to mumble a little bit, or at least maybe not mumble, but my voice volume drops down enough to trigger the what they call a voice gate in audio terms. And what the voice gate is it says it's the gate to open the audio recording or what you hear, and it has to the volume has to hit a certain level before that gate opens, and then the gate stays open for a certain period of time until when it stops hearing stuff, the gate stays open for a little bit, for so many seconds or whatever the setting is. I forget what it is, and it's milliseconds usually, and then it drops off again, or it closes the gate, so it's not sending anything to you guys. So what I've done is I turned off the gate, and we'll see how it goes. And we're just basically going off of what the NVIDIA software wants you to hear. So, and hopefully it should be fine. We'll see. I did a couple of tests and whatever, and it's so hard to tell sometimes. Testing is such an artificial environment. When you go to test stuff, it's really hard to simulate what's actually happening in the stream. I tried to do it, but I'm not very good at simulating myself and my rambling type, mumbling type stuff. I try, but it just doesn't work. So I have to do it the hard way and do it on real time. So you always assume I'm talking to you? Well, it seems like I do talk to you a lot, so. They're cutting the sounds below a set level. Well, yeah, that's what the noise gate does. It's looking for so many decibels, like, say when you whisper, maybe, or you're not, you're speaking really low. You can't really hear what you're saying, and that's when the noise gate goes, okay, I'm not hearing it. This isn't threshold, so we're not going to be sending this to the stream. And then when I start talking normally, say, okay, that's high enough. Open the gates, blah blah blah. Talk. Stop talking. Gate closes after so much time that you can preset and all this other fun stuff. Now we're just basically saying no noise gate at all. See how it works. It should be fine because we're still using the NVIDIA software for the noise suppression, which is the big deal. Noise gate isn't that big of a deal. That's what I used to use mainly for the noise suppression side of the program. For the most part, was the noise gate, thinking that was going to be okay, and it is. But the downside to doing it that way, as we've heard in the past, is when using the noise gate to control the noise in the background is like the air conditioner and stuff. We can make it so the noise gate doesn't pay attention, or is at the right level, so the air conditioner doesn't trigger it. However, once I start talking and the noise gate is open, everything goes. You hear everything. Once the gate is open, you're hearing everything. And that's where the NVIDIA software comes in with its noise suppression. And it's a smarter suppression. It's AI. Noise suppression basically is what it is. And it's more intelligent. It knows, it's learning, or it has learned that, okay, my voice is what gets sent to, down the line type deal. That's what we want to hear. But any stuff in the background, like the air conditioning, it's like, oh, that's not your voice. That shouldn't come through no matter what. It's not going to trigger, the gate to be open. And when the gate is open, we're still going to say, no, that's not going to come through. It's very cool software. And I'm just curious how it really works, but it's really cool software, and it works really well. Air conditioner isn't on right now, so it can't really judge it. But so far, it's been. You can you can't really tell when the air conditioner is on. You can't tell anymore, which is cool. Kind of ruins the whole hot tub thing, but yeah, whatever. We had to move on from that someday. So, okay, enough sound level stuff. Technical stuff. I think that's it. Oh, just because Fukuro's fine. Hot tub.
Gimpy? Are you getting in the hot tub?
Nope, this is just a test.
It is going to make you sweat.
This is just a test. What's cool about that is that's a sound effect, basically. It's a little, I think, 30-second recording, I think it is. And it's going through voice attack, which is cool. Because normally that kind of stuff would come through like a browser or whatever, or the regular desktop audio. Actually, regular desktop audio that would normally come through, and it does. But we don't hear the desktop audio in the stream anymore because we have a way of breaking everything out into its own little channel. And Voice Attack has its own channel, and that sound effect actually is coming through Voice Attack, so you guys actually get to hear it. That was my first, that was a real concern when I first started using that. It's like, is that coming through Voice Attack, or is that a desktop audio thing? and it is voice attack, so yeah, it works, and it's fine. Anyway, so we should get started.